You remember those days? Perhaps you've had some. I certainly did when you were young in grade school and you woke up and you didn't feel like going to school. And you were like, oh, I'm sick. Oh. And then magically by 10 o'clock you feel better. Well, I would stay home on those occasions and my mom and I would bake. It was like my mom and me would bake, cakes and cookies and all that. And that kind of just always sparked my interest in food and cooking. My mother was cooking professionally at the time and introduced me to the man who ran the food service here. And they were looking for someone with cooking skills, but also with sort of, as you know, at Putney, an eclectic set of skills and interest. I lived here with my wife. We had our boys. Our boys grew up here. Our son Noah was born. We were living here when he was born. So their life experience is rooted in this place. I came here in September of 1987, right before Harvest Festival. And it was immediate within, a few weeks or months that this was a great place for me, not only to sort of apply my craft to bake and cook and prepare food, but also to be engaged in other ways, with the community, creative ways and athletic ways and communal, be a part of the community. So it's always been a very compelling and engaging place to be. And if you think about your work, your home, it's a Putney School house, but it became our home fairly quickly. The birth of our children, the rearing of our children, the education of our children, and my work again, kind of all wrapped up in one experience. It's impossible to sort of tease out the pieces, really. It kind of all fit together for the longest time, just kind of fluidly. My whole home, yeah, for the longest time. When I started here, kale was not a culinary word. No one had ever heard of quinoa. You couldn't spell the word quinoa. The word localvore had not been invented yet. Yet, at that time, we were doing essentially what we do now. We were growing food. We were engaging young people in that experience, not only for the value of the product, what we made, but to engage in the process itself, to learn about it, to learn its value. For the longest time, I was trying to pull everyone. And then I realized, okay, well, you can only do that so far, and then it breaks down, And so it's much different now in terms of working more collectively and cooperatively with, individuals and groups to try and kind of make progress as we go along. It's nice to say nice things to people because they deserve it, and because a little sugar, as my mother-in-law would say, you give them a little sugar, it helps. And all these students, over all this time, I have learned so much about cultures, about the ideas, the progressive ideas that come with youth. You have a whole different vision, a worldview than I did. And if I was not connected with you, I wouldn't have any opportunity, or very little opportunity, to experience it or to be a part of it. The language you use, what you talk about, what your values are, it's new and fresh. And that's really continues to be inspiring, and kind of keeps you feeling kind of youthful in a way. So, I had kind of one of those wandering journeys that brought me to this place. But I was engaged with imaginative endeavors, some theater endeavors and dance endeavors and cooking endeavors, so creativity and the use of imagination purposefully has always been important to me. And observing and engaging, you know, in those kind of creative experiences, not that I'm always doing it, but going, for example, to go and see art, to experience art, you know, it's always been important. And so again, the idea that you cook something or you prepare something as a part, you get to do that as a part of that experience was always very compelling. The most amazing thing about food, if you think about it, you know, we create this experience. It has all of the dimensions of other sort of creative endeavors. It has color, it has shape, right? It has size, it has dimension, it has aroma and taste. But unlike other forms of art, if you will, when you consume, or even craft, when you consume food, what happens to it? When you eat something, right, it is physically transformed. It's broken down in your digestive system into its sort of basic components and then reassembled physically as yourself. Is that amazing? That, I think, is like, you know, a song comes in, you can hear it, you can sing it again. But those rolls we just baked are I'm going to enjoy it, we're going to look at it, we're going to feel it, and then we're going to consume it, and then it's going to physically turn into our body. That is like magical, right? Yeah. So that's a very compelling experience to, like, it doesn't get old, just the thought of that, so.